Hey, buddy. Good energy to you guys. So there was somebody whom I can't remember the name. I already tried to remember the name and it didn't come to me. Yeah, it's just not coming to me. But somebody talked about hyperinflation today, and that it might be, I consider them a pretty. I can't remember it, but whoever it was, I have a good feeling about them. So I decided to go ahead and look into hyperinflation myself. And this person, I remember them saying that in spring is when we're really going to start to see this hyperinflation thing take off. So, first of all, I want to look into what hyperinflation is by definition. And so, in economics, hyperinflation is a very high and typically accelerating inflation. It quickly erodes the real value of the local currency as the prices of all goods increased. Almost all hyperinflations have been caused by government budget deficits financed by currency creation. Sorry, that last part trips me up because it just doesn't feel right. So then the word deficit, just to make sure we're figuring all these things out as well as we can. The amount by which something, especially a sum of money, is too small. So, with the knowledge of deficit, let's go back to what this definition of hyperinflation is. Almost all hyperinflations have been caused by government budget that is too small, which is financing the currency creation. So, this is our government, and this is the issue that we're having with governments is that they're basically have these programs that are designed to create money, but there's not enough money to go into printing the amount of money that they're printing. Is that what's going on? I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out, so if anybody has any, information or insight on hyperinflation, I'd love to learn more because, in my opinion, what I just read, it seems kind of like a prelude to them. Just making food that much more expensive, which is going to make everybody that much poorer and desperate, and just going to continue to create more tension and havoc, essentially in and around all these, modernized worlds. And then the reason behind it, it's like if one were to look at all of the things that, government is spending money on, you'd think that if we're in any type of a real situation to where hyperinflation is actual possibility and food shortages are actually really something that could happen and we're able to see that these things might be on the way, you'd think that we would redirect some of our finances from other things that we don't really need, like NASA. How much money do we spend on NASA all the time? And is that going to help feed children or people or help the sick? It's just silly things like this could we could shut that down. And we're supposed to live in a democracy where the majority rules. Like, how I think that's a pretty common. I don't think it would be too hard to find most people agreeing with diverting funds from things like NASA to go into things like keeping food prices at a reasonable price. That's just, speculation on my part. It's opinion on mine. But again, and this hyperinflation thing, to me, it looks like, this is what happens when you give all these corporate fucking businesses all the powers. They can literally change the prices on shit at their whim, at their will. And since we don't really have our own alternative, most people do not have their own alternative way to get all the food and things that they need. We're dependent on this system. So, by them doing this and changing the prices, it goes into their agenda, in my opinion, of the New World Order, how they create the chaos, and out of the chaos they come in as the saviors. There's also talk about how a lot of these elites have giant fucking warehouses full of seeds and probably food and all sorts of shit. These people with money are going to make sure that they're not going to starve. That's for sure. So, and they're also the ones that are controlling the prices of everything. So it seems like this is a set up thing to get us into an even weaker position. Which, in my opinion, just goes to show that, more effort and attention needs to be put into movements like growing hemp, community-based gardens, getting away from these major cities, getting away from spending all of our money in taxes. And the more that we liquidate the things that we don't need, the more we can use that money to develop good land and start developing vertical farm growing systems, start getting our hemp going, start reprinting all the technologies and things that we absolutely need. It just continues to I just continue to see signs that this movement, really needs to happen. And then on top of that, I don't see, and Sean Michael brought up a good point, because I talk about how I don't see a lot of people talking about solutions to these things. And I don't, based on the stuff that I'm privy to seeing, But he has talked about how there are people talking about these things, and I'm definitely curious and eager to hear what they have to say, because this is a very serious problem, and not only is it gonna fucking just make things that much more stressful for everybody, but in my opinion, I feel like it's in league with this New World Order agenda. So it's literally just another step that they're taking to create more chaos and misery in our lives. And then from that misery, they're going to, it's just all sorts of hell and violence is probably going to break out. And then they come in with their fucking police state and fucking turn us into even more slaves. That just seems to be what is happening. I don't want it to be happening. I'd like to fucking live a fun life and, have, have a wife and maybe have a family someday and all these things, but we have some serious issues that we got to deal with. And even though I'm 35 without any type of real, I took in a little bit of college, but I really am a very unlearned man. Everything that I've picked up largely on my own and talking with friends and just going through life experiences. So but I still feel like something needs to be done about this, and it doesn't even seem to be that complicated of a problem. And so here I am just trying to shed light on what this hyperinflation thing is. And Sean Michael, he also brought up a good point. I talk about hemp and all the potentialities it has, and it's like, until there is documented research done and testimonials that we can share with people, we don't have the proof yet. So again, we need systems, we need areas, we need people that are willing to help out to provide these type of testimonials so we can see what is actually real and what actually isn't. But anyways, that's segueing a little bit, but more into the hyperinflation. So this is from Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter and Square, and he's says the sudden surge consumers have seen in food and gas prices could just be the beginning. And this is, Jack Dorsey, Twitter's a pretty big company, so if he's talking about this shit happening, he's somebody who's in the know with these larger corporations. So whether or not, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like, yeah, he could be totally fucking blowing smoke up our ass, or he could be telling us the truth, So that's one source that's talking about this hyperinflation. This was another one, I think, right here. Yeah, so some think the U.S. is set to achieve an inflation rate of 1,000% or more. 1,000%. That's 10 times. That's essentially 10 times, 100%. So that would be, if something is $1, then it would be $10, right? Or would it be $1,000? I don't know. My math is not the best. So anyways, maybe you guys can help me out with that. But anyways, even $1 to $10 is a huge increase. Because if that thing that is $10 is now $100, that's ridiculous. And we're living in times when people are already financially fucking hurt. So yeah, this is just another website that is talking about how, some people think that the U.S. is set to achieve, an interesting word they put, achieve there, an inflation rate of 1,000% or more. And then again, hyperinflation generally describes a series of rapid, excessive, and out of control price increases is rare in developed countries. That's because a true hyperinflation has to meet a high bar, an inflationary rate, I don't even know that word, inflationary rate of 1,000% or more year, according to most economists. Sorry. So yeah, they're saying it's an out of control price increase is rare in developed countries. Well, they're talking about it happening here, and we're very much so a developed country. So, that's just one site. So again, guys, I'm gonna do more research and find out how how viable this is based on what I can do to find. But I just want to bring attention to these things, because it's like, if we see something like this coming, in our near future, why don't we start doing something about it? So, all right, I love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Bye.